Hello and welcome to this video presentation. My name is Paul Brett. I'm a Senior Software Support Analyst supporting the Transformation Extender product from IBM. The topic for this video is Generate JSON for Catalog of REST API. Feel free to reach out to me on popular social media channels at Paul Brett IBM. To catalog a map for the ITX REST API, you need a JSON descriptor file. I was asked if there was a tool to create these, and I created a map that can do this task. In this practical demonstration, I show how I built that map, and it takes the Samples.mms export file, Samples.xml, and creates a JSON format descriptor file for any map within it. We'll start this practical demonstration in the ITX 10.1.1 installation directory, subdirectory examples REST API. There is a README document. This README document tells you all about the cataloging of maps. This tells you why you would need to do it. Under Samples, you have a folder called Maps, and here are the maps that have been created for you. And if we go back one and into Descriptors, you can see that there are JSON files that are used to catalog the maps using the script in the scripts directory. So somebody asked me, can these files be created automatically? And currently there is no tool that provides this functionality, but because all of the information that is required to create this file is available in a map export, it is easy to create a map that reads a map export file and can create the JSON file for you. Let's take a look at one of these files, 2in2out.json. It's a fairly simple file. There's an inputs section, and in there it describes each card and has the MIME type and a description for it. There is an output section, and again there is a section for each card and tells you the description for that. And there is an overall set of descriptions for the map itself and some additional properties here. All this information is either going to be static or is going to be culled from the XML file that is an export of a map source. I'm going to take this 2in2out.json file and use it as my metadata for my output card in my map. In the maps directory, I'm going to create an export of this map, Samples.mms, which is going to be the basis of how I create the JSON. So I open up a command prompt in the directory. I prepend to the path variable where my ITX is installed so that I can call the map export command, mexport. This has now created Samples.xml for me. Now ideally we need a type tree that will read this file. This is provided for us if we go back to the examples subdirectory, into Design Studio, into map.imp.exp, we have a map.import.export.mtt here. So we have everything we need to build our map. Let's go into the Design Studio now and start a project. Here I am in my ITX 10.1.1 Design Studio, and I have one project open called Catalog REST API. Here is the same area on disk, and as you can see I've copied in the Samples.xml, which was the export of the samples map. I've copied in the map.import.export.mtt type tree that will read this XML, and I've also copied in the 2in2out.json file, but I've called it outtemplate.json. So now it's time to start building our map. In my project, I right-click Map and choose New Map Source File. I'm going to call it Example1. I create a new map. I'm also calling this Example1, and I save the file. In the outline view, we have one map, no cards currently. Let's create an input card in one. Type tree I'm going to use is the map imp export that I copied from the Design Studio folder, and the object I'm going to read is document, and the file I'm going to read is samples.xml. So if I save, build and run this map, the map has completed successfully. So we know that that XML reads into that type tree nice and successfully. So let's create our output card now. I'm going to call it out1. I'm going to use as my metadata outTemplate.json, and for a JSON type tree we always pick JSON as the root object, and the file we're going to create is called output.json. Okay, so this structure allows for the cataloguing of one map. On my input structure, my MMS contains multiple maps. Here are the map elements, and for each map we have an attribute list which includes name, input count, output count, etc., and also the actual map itself with the input cards and output cards here. So we need to extract just one of these maps, and we need to extract it based on a value that can be found here, the map name. Now I could hard code that, but I'm not going to. I am actually going to have another input card that echoes that value in, so this can be an override and I can change the value of the map that I'm extracting on the fly. So new card into the type tree I'm going to use. I don't have currently, so I'm going to have to quickly copy that in. I'm just using a simple generic MTT that I've used in many projects before, and this has a text object. The source is going to be the echo adapter for now, and the map I'm going to read is 2 in, 2 out, so I put that string in the echo, so that value is held in input card 2 for me. Okay, now that I have the elements that I want, I can drop to a functional map and extract just the map out of this source that I want. So I'm going to extract a map where the map name equals the value that's coming in on card in 2. I'm going to save that map. I need to put in a functional map name. Right click functional map wizard and then choose create and close. Switch to composition view and you'll see under example 1 we have f_gen JSON. Down at this level we have our JSON structure, and on the input side hopefully things that we can map across, such as name for example. Some of these rules I'm just going to insert none, some of them I'm going to insert dummy values. The URL path is mostly going to be the same as the name, so I'm going to drag the name down there and just prepend it with test/. And the map path again is just going to be another copy of the name, so I'm going to drag and drop that down there. So that's most of the rules completed already. If I now create functional maps for both the inputs and outputs, on the left side we have sections for inputs, and I drag and drop that up into my rule bar, and a new functional map here, and I drag in the output elements, save my map, run the functional map wizard, create that one, again functional map wizard, create that one. We have 2 new functional maps here. Now we basically just need to map in the card number, which is available on the input side here. However, you will note that on the input side this is a text value, and on the output side it is expecting a number. So we're going to have to put a text to number function around it. This is going to be a text literal for now to create our skeleton, and again another text literal there. Pretty much the same on the output side. Find the card number, drag and drop, wrap it in a text to number function, couple more literals there, and all the rules we need for this map are ready. So if we save, build and run this map, what we need to do now is compare the output template that we have here, which is, as you can remember, the catalogue for one of the existing maps that was already provided to us, and now we compare it to what our map can produce. You will note that barring a few literals that need to be updated, this structure is pretty much ready to go. So now I can override this run map, send in any XML that is an export of any map source file. In input card 2, send in an override to echo in the map that I want to extract, and on output we should get the associated JSON required to catalogue that map, at least a skeleton of it that we can then update with things like a proper description and a proper summary. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my video presentation today. If you found the content interesting and informative, hit that like button. Perhaps leave me a comment. Consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, as I release content such as this on a regular basis. Feel free to reach out to me on popular social media channels at Paul Brett IBM. Thank you.